So, Doom 3, a game that I've talked about and have vouched for. Ignoring all the back noise and the reception given by a good number of the Doom community after its release, the game itself did in fact benefit from a criminally underrated modding scene that it had going for it. You had visual and gameplay enhancement mods, total conversion mods that changed up the experience entirely. Speaking of which, I will be covering some of them in the future, but for now, I will be going down a memory lane and playing something that is not only a love letter to the classics, but combines it with Doom 3's great atmosphere and lighting. The mod I am referring to is Classic Doom 3. Classic Doom 3 was a conversion mod created by Gaz all the way back in 2007. Yes, it is that old. The mod was an effort to fully remake the first episode of the first Doom game, Knee Deep in the Dead. And you have all 8 levels, including the secret level military base, remade with the same layouts, but also taking full advantage of Doom 3's id Tech 4 engine. I played this mod all the way back when I got my first gaming PC. I discovered the world of modding and saw this one mod in particular. I was familiar with the classic Doom games because I had Doom 3 on the original Xbox, which also included the classic Doom games, so even for me this mod was a treat. So let's see how it holds up today. The mod actually implements cutscenes made by the creator, and it shows given the difference in animation work and voice acting. For a fan-made mod in 2007, it's quite charming actually. It showed that with enough passion and dedication, you could make an entirely new story out of an existing game, and with enough creative talent, you can make some really cool stuff like this. So the story starts as you expect. The experiment in Mars has gone terribly wrong. Mars is invaded by Hell's forces, and a distress call is sent out to Earth. In any case, reinforcements get sent to contain the threat, and now you're the only one left alive. With your trusty weapon in hand, you kick the mod off with one of the most iconic levels in the history of Doom, E1M1 Hangar. From the get-go, the game already feels somewhat different while similar at the same time. Your pistol is more effective, the stamina bar is gone, you no longer have to reload any of your weapons, and the reason is simple. The classic Doom games didn't have the changes that Doom 3 brought forth, and the creator wanted to make a faithful creation of the first episode within Doom 3, which meant stripping down the gameplay to the point where it was like classic Doom. Honestly, this is how Doom 3 should have played in the first place. It's faster and more satisfying in comparison. The enemies themselves though behave pretty much the same here. The weapons themselves quite literally reflect their classic counterparts. The shotgun has more range than before and has no need to reload. The chain gun is slow but powerful with controlled bursts. The rocket launcher wipes most enemies but is dangerous to use in close quarters. With the chainsaw, it has this magnetic effect like in the classics where you latch onto an enemy once you start using it. But I barely used it because most of the time you'll just be shot to death. Speaking of which, the enemies in this mod comprise of imps, pinkies, specters which are invisible pinkies, Z-Secs with pistols, shields and shotguns. And then finally the Barons of Hell, which are basically 2 Hell Knights with more health and faster projectiles. Let me tell you, given the bigger spaces that this mod has going for it in the levels, the Z-Sec shotgunners will give you the most trouble. In the classic games, they didn't fire as often and you could cheese them or bundle them together for an easy shotgun kill. In this mod, they are way harder and fire more frequently. Their behavior only ended up ironically slowing the game more than I thought because you get shot to pieces and because of their damage output. You can't be out in the open for too long because of those guys. Imps are pretty manageable though, and given the shotgun's improved range and also the vast space that you have in the levels, you can maneuver around them quite easily so that you won't have to worry about them too much here. The invisible pinkies though are really annoying. The mod's use of Doom 3's shadows and lighting often make it near impossible to see them, as well as some enemies like the Z-Secs. Oftentimes I've had to rely more on their sounds than my ability to see them. And in some of the scenarios, they creep up on you really quickly and stun you to death. Difficulty wise, it's still pretty manageable. You don't have to worry about reloading or stamina anymore, but you still have to play it like Doom 3 because of the overwhelming number of Z-Secs that you'll have to deal with throughout the levels. Nightmare difficulty has the same drop-down health mechanic in the original Doom 3 and ignores the classic Doom Night 3 difficulty entirely. Personally, I would recommend the 3rd difficulty setting for the most optimal experience. The maps themselves are blessed with more detail than before thanks to the power of the id Tech 4 engine. Each room has the same exact layout and structure from the classics, but this time has a lot more to look at because of the graphics. From the assembly of computer terminals pumping out information, storage rooms of cars and cabinets, or simply large machines giving out power, the creator made great use of bringing the first episode to life here with the game's engine. Just seeing it again makes me wish for another classic Doom 3 mod, but more updated and with all the episodes. And that's the thing, this mod only has the first episode, and the ending of it was supposed to set up the second episode, Shores of Hell. But to my knowledge, there doesn't seem to be any confirmations regarding future episodes, and since this particular mod was made so long ago, it probably never will be made.
That's bullshit!
Quiet down!
At least by this creator, which is a shame because this mod shows so much promise even for something made in 2007. Gameplay wise, it's just Doom 3 but slightly faster and with no reloading or stamina. You go through the levels exactly the same way like in the classics. You find key cards and then the exit door, alongside secrets and power-ups like Mega Armor and Mega Health and Berserk. However, for anyone expecting the game to be as fast, if not faster, they'll be disappointed here. Part of why Doom 3 didn't flourish as much as classic Doom's modding scene was because of technical factors regarding the engine and the core gameplay. To make it even faster would be to completely start it all from scratch and basically remake the game more or less, rather than just editing the existing code with new parameters. Even then though, it still plays better than the original Doom 3 in my opinion. The mod also recreates the entire soundtrack of Episode 1, thanks to the talent of Clang, who remade all the tracks with a more badass tone to really set that classic mood in a game that was pandered by so many amongst the Doom community. The Hangar track is an absolute banger, always is, always will be. Command Control, Military Base, and the Phobos Anomaly theme have some of my favourite tracks as well in this mod. Clang did a fantastic job of bringing one of the most iconic video game soundtracks of all time to life, and his do-overs of the OG tracks still get played from time to time in my playlists. At the end of the day, Classic Doom 3 is a mod that's been lost to time. It was an experiment to recreate the first episode, and for the most part, I think it was a big success. It's just disappointing that it didn't go any further with the other 3 episodes. Seeing Shores of Hell and Inferno recreated in Doom 3 would have looked amazing, especially given the fact that Doom 3 has my favourite depiction of Hell in the series besides Doom Eternal. But Doom 3's modding scene is still going strong, and maybe, hopefully, one day someone will recreate all of classic Doom in Doom 3. That would be something to look forward to. Nevertheless, Classic Doom 3 is still a great mod that's worth playing. I'll provide a link in the description so that you can enjoy this nostalgic experience. Thank you for watching.
What the hell is this? It's not supposed to end this way. Stinks like rotten meat, but it looks like the lost evil spirits. Looks like you were stuck on the shores of hell. The only way out is through.